In this video, I'm going to teach you how to buy a house and update it all with government funding. So the next time you see a house that may look like it needs some work, you'll know exactly how to go about buying it. What's good? It's your favorite businessman, CEO Rico, on Urban CEO Network, where we discuss real plays, real lessons, and real conversations. Make sure you lock in, subscribe, and drop a comment. Now let's jump into today's video. Now, the government funding that I'm referring to is called a FHA 203K, right? Now, a regular FHA loan, this can help you buy a house. We all know this. But a FHA 203K loan is different because it is designed for a home that needs repairs, updates, or improvements, right? Now, in simple terms, what does this mean? It simply means that the loan can include the purchase price of the home plus money for the eligible repairs. So instead of needing to come out of pocket for every repair after closing, the renovation money can be built into the mortgage. Now, this can be powerful for the right buyer because it's not for everybody. And it's also not a shortcut either because it's not free money. All right. So I don't want you thinking about it like that. And not every property will qualify for this as well. So this is a strategy loan. That's how I want you to think about it. Okay. Because you need the right house. You need the right repair plan, the right contractor, the right lender, and the right expectations. Now, when I say you need all of the right house, the right plan, all things like that, basically, like, you're not about to get a property, let's say it's outside of the loan limits because it's like a super big house or something like that. And for the area, you're not going to be able to get that. Let's say you don't have a qualified contractor, or you're trying to work with a lender that doesn't do these type of loans. This will make the situation a lot worse because you won't be able to fulfill the things that you're trying to fulfill. So that's something you want to make sure you pay attention to. Now, why the 203K loan can be a win for a lot of buyers. So I'm going to dive into the reasons on why. So here is why the loan can actually help clients win. Now, a lot of buyers, they're fighting over move-in ready homes, especially back during COVID. A lot of the properties, people were paying, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 over asking price. And now they're in a bit of a situation because those properties are no longer valued at what they paid at. So what that means is they bought way too much house and they no longer can afford it. This doesn't make a lot of sense. Now, everybody wants the house with the updated kitchen, the finished basement, newer bathroom, like the perfect picture that they see online, right? But because everybody wants those houses, those homes usually come with more competition. Now, competition can be good depending on what side you're on. Now, if you're the seller, oh yeah, you love all that competition. But when you're the buyer, you don't want competition. You want it for the best price for you. Now, what does the competition actually mean? It means higher offers, way more buyers, less seller flexibility. They don't have to be flexible because they got too many people that wants the property. There's less room to negotiate. It's more emotional bidding as well. We don't want to get into emotional bidding. We always make sure the numbers make sense and have the conversation for us, not our emotions. And the house may need some work too, right? Now, a lot of buyers skip right over it, right? Because they say, oh, I don't want to deal with repairs. I don't have the cash to fix it. I don't know contractors. I don't want a project. And of course, I get it. Not everybody wants those type of things. But that is also where opportunity can show up. Because if you understand the 203K loan, you may be able to look at a house completely differently. Now, instead of asking, is this perfect? Is everything updated already and things like that? You can simply look at it from a position of, can this house become what I need after repairs? And on top of that, you're going to have some equity built into the property too because you raised the value. So that's a completely different mindset. Now, what a 203K loan can help you pay for? I know you guys really want to know this one, right? Now, talking about the different types of repairs that can be included. So it's depending on the program and the property, 203K loan funds may be used for things like kitchen updates, bathroom updates, flooring, paint, roof repairs, heating and cooling system, the plumbing, electrical, the windows, the appliances that are built into the home, accessibility improvements. You can do some decks, patios, walkways, driveways. You got health and safety repairs because those are very, very important. The key is that the repairs have to be eligible, properly documented, and approved through the loan process. Now, another thing I want to mention to you in regards to the 203K loan as well. You can actually knock the entire house down, but you have to leave the foundation in place and rebuild the house all the way back up with the same loan as long as it fits within the budget. So that's something big that I don't want you guys to forget. So you cannot just say I want extra money to do whatever I feel like doing. No, the work has to be a part of the approved renovation plan. Now, that is why this loan requires the proper structure. And of course, working with the proper loan professional will help you get to where you're trying to get to with structuring it the right way. Now, there are two versions you need to understand, okay? You got a limited 203K and a standard 203K. Let's talk about the difference. So the limited 203K is usually for smaller non-structural repairs. Think of like cosmetic updates, smaller improvements and repairs that are not a major structural projects. Now the current limited 203K, it got a rehab cost limit is $75,000, which means you can't go over that limit. And of course, they have some other fees and things, so it's really like you don't want to go over, I think it's like $65,000 or something like that, right? So this may work for the buyer who found a house that needs updates, but not a full rebuild. Now, the standard 203K is for bigger projects. This is where you may be dealing with a major renovation, structural repairs, or just a large scope of work. Now, with the standard 203K, a HUD approved 203K consultant is required. Now, that consultant helps inspect the property, prepare the work, write up, and make sure that the repair plan is properly documented. So basically, they're going to be your advocate, making sure everything gets done properly so you don't have no hiccups along the way. Now, here is a simple breakdown, okay? So think of a limited 203K. This is for the smaller non-structural work. So just the cosmetic updates, things like that. That's what you want to go for. Now, you need actual like structural reconfiguration or things like that. That's when you look at the standard 203K because it's for bigger renovation projects. Now, remember, they both can be powerful, but they are not the same. So don't think of them as the same. Now, how the money works is very important. So with the 203K loan, the repair money is not just handed to you at close like a personal check. The funds are placed into a renovation escrow account. Now, that means that the money is set aside for approved repairs. Now, the contractors, they get paid through what's called a draw process as the work is being completed. So if you're thinking about, I'm about to get this money and go shopping, you can forget that. It's not gonna happen. That is not how it works. Okay, so the money is controlled. The work has to be completed, the contractor has to be involved, and the lender has to release funds properly. So basically what this basically indicating is when a contractor completes the work, typically an inspection is done to verify that they have completed the work. Once they has verified that they completed the work, the lender will release a certain amount of funds. I like these type of setups because one, a lot of people already know, a lot of contractors, they do some shady stuff, right? So some people may think of it as, oh, I got to jump through all these different hoops just to get this done. It's like, yeah, it's for a reason, because at the end of the day, people like to run off with money. So if you have to submit documentation that indicates, hey, I'm going like this amount of work is going to be done by this certain amount of time, and you know, it continues to follow along. And then once an inspector goes out, they verify that the work has been completed. Hey, now the lender can release those funds. Now the contractor can get paid, because we want to make sure they get paid for work that's actually done, not just giving them work to where they're going to run off. And then now we're in a situation where we owe this money and the work is not getting done. We don't want that. All right. And depending on the type of 203K loan, like I said, there may be inspections. It's super big, okay? I guess in some cases, you know, depending on what's going on, what's needed, it may not be, but generally just expect an inspection to be completed each and every time the work is done and it's time to send that money out. We also need the proper documentation, contractor approvals, draw requests, and the timelines, okay? So that is why you need to go into this prepared. So don't just think this is not just, you know, a mortgage. It's a mortgage plus a renovation project. So it's more than one moving part, okay? Now, why this can help you in today's market, this is where 203Ks can get really interesting, okay? Now, especially in the city of Detroit, where I'm from, born and raised, this can be something super powerful because we still got a lot of properties that need to be updated and renovated, okay? Now, a lot of buyers are complaining about affordability. They say, homes cost too much. There are not enough good houses. Everything I like is out of my price range. I don't want to overpay, which is a crazy sentiment because just a few years ago, everybody was overpaying, right? But sometimes the better opportunity is not the house that already looks perfect. Sometimes the better opportunity is the house that needs work but has potential. Now, here's another thing I want to say about that too. When you build your own house, you build it to your liking, your specification. That's going to bring so much more value to you versus buying something that somebody else built and you had no input to it. So just keep that in the back of your mind. Now, a 203K loan may help you buy the property that other buyers overlook. That could help create room for negotiations. It can help you customize the home. It also can help repair the property before you fully settle into it. and it could help you build equity if the numbers make sense. But I want to be clear here. You still have to qualify. The home still has to meet the program requirements. The repairs still have to be eligible. The numbers still have to work. So do not buy a problem just because a loan program exists. You got to buy with a plan. Okay. Now, the biggest mistakes that buyers make with a 203K loan, we about to dive into it right now. So if we discussing all of the mistakes that they made, this is super important because this is where people can really get frustrated. So mistake number one, they underestimate the repairs. This is one of the reasons on why you definitely want to make sure you have a contractor going through the house with you. When you do a walkthrough of a house, you can't just say like, oh, this should only cost $10,000. The contractor could say something like, no, this actually costs $35,000. There's a $25,000 difference in what you thought versus what the contractor thought. And the contractor is the one who does this work on a continual basis. You just jumping into it. So it's like stay in your lane. You don't want to do that. You don't want to create your own headache. Just let the professionals do their part. That changes the whole conversation, doesn't it? Exactly. Now, mistake number two, they do not understand the timeline. This is another big issue. A 203K loan can take more coordination than regular purchase. Why, do you ask? Well, you need bids, you need contractor information, you need repair details, you got appraisal review, and the renovation approval, right? Now, mistake number three that they make, they pick the wrong contractor. Ooh, when I tell you, the contractor matters. Here's one thing I want you to kind of think about too. The very good contractors, they're kind of always busy. Why? Because everyone wants to work with them. The ones that not are always busy, sometimes they can be kind of like little scammers. Sometimes their work is just horrible. Or sometimes they just don't know how to market themselves properly, but they do great work. So it's kind of like you kind of got to just find a needle in a haystack almost, right? It's very frustrating, but if you talk to other people that's in the industry, they'll tell you like, yeah, good contractors or good people are hard to come by, but they still eventually find them because there's a lot of people out here working, right? But you need somebody who understands the paperwork, the timeline, the estimates, and being able to communicate. Now, mistake number four that people make, they get emotionally attached to the house. We cannot do that. They fall in love with the potential, but the numbers do not work. This is what I tell my clients all the time. Don't go shopping for a house first before we actually make sure everything that you're looking to do, you qualify to do it, and the money is already ready to go. That way you don't let your emotions control the whole process and you don't fall in love with something that you can't even move forward with. Now, potential is good, but potential does not pay the mortgage. Don't forget that. We always got to make sure that the numbers make sense, all right? We got to make sure the money is good. Now, mistake number five is they think the loan is free renovation money. Now, I don't know why some people will even think about this because this is a little bananas to me. It is not free money. The lender is giving you money. It's financed into the mortgage. So that means it affects the loan amount and the payment. So you need to understand the total monthly payment after the repair money is added, all right? Now, how can clients win with this today? Here's how you win. First, know your budget before you start to shop. Do not just ask how much home you can buy because it's more than just that, right? Ask how much home plus repairs can you comfortably afford. And then if you can't comfortably afford whatever the number come out to be, then you just make those adjustments. Then second, you look at homes with fixable problems. Ugly is fine. Outdated is fine. Even worn down is fine. Because at the end of the day, you're not looking at the house as is. You're looking at the opportunity that this house now presents because nobody else wants this house. That means you can get it for a lot cheaper, get some good renovations in there, up the price tremendously. Now you winning. Third, you got to get a realistic contractor estimate, okay? Do not guess at all. Do not go off what your cousin said, your uncle said. If they just do a little bit of work on properties every now and again, don't go off what they saying. Get you some real numbers, all right? And get them documented as well. You want to get at least like 3 quotes, right? Just to be on the safe side, just to see, what the frames, the specs is. You just want to make sure you're getting a good deal, okay? Now, fourth, you got to understand the after improved value. Now, typically, that's what's called ARV in the investment world, after repair value, right? Now, the lender is not looking at what the home is worth today. They may look at what the home is expected to be worth after the repairs are completed. That matters. And this is another reason on why your numbers matter as well, because the lenders is going to be looking at this too. We want to make sure you get in and out with the money that you need so you can get to where you're trying to go. Now, fifth problem is work with the people who understand the process. This is super huge. Your real estate team matters so much. If you have the wrong loan officer working to get to, put all the numbers in, that can stop your loan. If you have the wrong realtor, they're going to mess up the whole thing. Like a 203K loan is not something that you want everybody learning on your file. You don't want that. You want a loan team, real estate agent, you want the contractor and a consultant, if needed, who understand how this whole process works. And even if they don't understand how it fully works, at least they're willing to go learn the entire process, ask those questions, and get a good understanding of how it works, and then they make the thing go through. That can make the difference between a smooth strategy and a stressful mess. Just being honest. And look, you already know, I'm always gonna be real with you guys. Most buyers only know how to shop for pretty houses. That is why they keep running into competition. But smart buyers learn how to see the potential. They learn how to look past the ugly carpet and the outdated kitchens. That's how you basically become an investor, okay? You don't look at the old bathrooms. You just start asking those better questions like, okay, can this be repaired? Can the repairs be financed? How, like, if I was to get my contractors in here tomorrow, how fast could they get this done? Can this house become what I need? Will the numbers make sense after the work is done? Like, you got to shift the mindset to understand what's going on, because once you do that, that's when you start seeing opportunities to where you come out on top and you win. Because sometimes the house that looks bad online is the house that gives you the most opportunity to win, which in return, as we go down the road, you're going to be the one that have all the equity, which means you're going to have available funds to do whatever else you want. Maybe you want to invest in some new property or anything like that. Then, you start opening up those opportunities for you to start creating some type of income generation or, wealth generation as time goes on, depending on how you build it, right? If you don't know, about the tools like 203K, you may walk right past a deal that could have worked for you, all right? Now, let's just go over like a quick client example, right? So let's say a buyer wants a move-in ready house, but everything updated is outside their budget. They keep seeing homes listed at like 250, 260, 275, right? But then they find a home that's 210 that needs flooring, paint, kitchen update, and some repairs. Most buyers may skip it, but a 203K, the buyer may be able to finance the purchase and the eligible repairs into the one loan. So now, instead of paying top dollar for somebody else's updates, they may be able to create the updates themselves through the loan structure. That's how the loan can open up options. But again, the numbers got to work. All right. So here's the main takeaway that I want you guys to run with this. Okay. A FHA 203K loan, it can help buyers compete differently. They can help you look at homes that need work, and they can help you finance the eligible repairs. Right. So they help you create a better home instead of just chasing a perfect home, but they require preparation. You do need a plan. You need realistic numbers, the right contractor, loan structure, and you need to understand that this is still a mortgage. The goal is not just to get approved. The goal is to buy smarter. All right. So if you are thinking about buying a home and you keep feeling like everything updated is out of your price range, you may need to look at the market a little bit differently. Now, a 203K loan is definitely worth taking a look at and reviewing, okay? So if you want help understanding whether this type of strategy could make sense for you and your situation, book a mortgage consultation with me now. We can look at where you are, what you are trying to buy, what your budget looks like, and, what loan strategy may fit. Don't just shop emotionally, okay? Like, please don't. Just shop with a plan. That's going to make the difference for you and how to make smarter moves in this market today. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. If you got any feedback, make sure you drop a comment, and make sure you hit the links that's in the description. Talk to you guys later. Peace.